What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an EP review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the new EP from the band Leprous Divinity, entitled Enslavement. This is released on Rising Nemesis Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of the Bay Area of California, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very atmospheric, slam-orientated, technical style of brutal death metal. This has been a band that I have been keeping my eyes on for a very, very good while now, and it really, really blows my mind to see how much this band has evolved throughout the years. Originally, this was a band that was formed as just a straight-up one-man project, formed by this band's guitar player, Cameron. I believe the band was called Urethral. He basically played and did everything for that project. But then as time went by, more and more people began to get involved with this project, so it didn't become just a one-man band. It slowly but surely became a full-fledged active band with multiple band members. And of course, the band name changed to Leprous Divinity. And this has been a project that has been slowly but surely making a name for themselves within the death metal world. And as of lately, they've been making their live performances much more well known on a wider scale. They recently played two very, very prominent festivals, Las Vegas Death Fest and Foothills Gut Fest, respectively. So, if you happen to attend either of those festivals and you happen to check out this band, I believe they'd put on some very, very incredible performances. But prior to this, they were working on a particular debut EP release. This EP release being Enslavement. And after all the hard work that this band has put in, we have this debut release. It's 4 tracks, and it clocks in at around 13.5 minutes in length. So pretty much, this is going to be a relatively short and sweet EP that gets straight down to the point without having to overexert itself. But if you happen to be into more contemporary brutal death metal bands, I want to say bands that come to mind would be like Coprocephalic or Acranius, to maybe even more well-known bands like, let's say, Cranium or Gorgasm, or maybe even Disentombed to a certain extent. You're going to get a whole lot of influences from all of those bands rolled up into this Leprous Divinity band. And I gotta tell you, I believe there is way more gold to be found within this band than what's being presented here. I believe there's going to be a lot more great things to come from this band in the future, and this particular EP in question is definitely going to serve as a great, great platform for this band and what the future has to offer. I love how atmospheric this EP is. Pretty much the way every single track gets started, it starts off very dark, very moody, and very ominous, and then you get straight up right into the brutality, and therein lies the main story of Enslavement, and that is the guitar and bass work. I think the guitar work is very, very stellar. That's where you get a lot of the dirty, slam-orientated sort of riff work going on here. I think it's very, very, very creative, very interesting. A lot of nice, dissonant riff work going on here, especially towards the first couple of tracks. Fallacy of the Nephilim and Willful Condemnation of Servitude. Just the guitar work on those 2 tracks alone are very, very incredible. Very devastating and very, very well-articulated guitar playing going on here. It's very, very interesting and very, very creative. And I want to say on the track Willful Condemnation of Servitude, one of the guitarists from the band Burning the Masses does a brief guitar solo on that track, and I definitely think it adds to the overall craziness and atmosphere of the track. But then you get to the second half of the EP with songs like Collapsing the Throne of Enslavement and Copulating the Self-Immolated. You just get some more heavier, more brutal guitar playing going on here. And I definitely think that is the main story of this EP, is the guitar work. I think it's extremely impressive, and it definitely makes the listener want to pay more attention to what's happening here. Another thing to point out about this EP is the usage of the drums. I believe the drums are programmed here, but they're not done in a way that feel, you know, too oblivious or too distracting. I think for it being programmed drums, it sounds really, really awesome, and it definitely engages the listener that much more. They do have an actual full-time drummer, but I'm pretty sure we'll hear that on the full-length album that's soon to come from this band. But for what we have here for the drum machine, I think it handles itself very, very tastefully. Very clean, very polished, not too polished to where you can't, you know, move along with it, but I definitely think it really makes the head nod that much more when you listen to that. Um, Moving on to the vocals, I think the vocals are very, very creative and done very, very well here. Pretty much your mixture of brutal, guttural, low growls to more mid-ranged, high-end sort of screams. And just the way those two kind of vocal styles are handled really, really make it that much more interesting. I really love the vocal interplay that's being used here, especially on the first, once again going back to the first half of this EP, Fallacy of the Nephilim. I believe Ogar from the band Face of Oblivion does some vocal work on that particular track, and I believe he made a very, very lasting impact on this particular release. So shout outs to him for making something like this possible. And I want to say on Willful Condemnation of Servitude, you have a guy like Jonathan from Parasitic Ejaculation doing some vocal work for the track. You can instantly recognize what he's setting out to do with his vocal style, and I think it works out quite nicely here. So, aside from the guest vocal tracks, I think the actual vocals themselves are very, very awesome. So overall, this is a band that has way more potential than what's being represented here. I am very, very excited for this band's future. I'm very excited to hear what's going to be coming from them very soon. So if you happen to be into brutal death metal or any of its later contemporaries, Leprous Divinity is a band for you to definitely be checking out. From what I understand, this release is available digital only. It is available through their Bandcamp page. You can buy it from them for, I want to say it's $4 right now. Originally, it was free downloads, but pretty much everybody capitalized on the download thing and went at it. But you're definitely supporting the band if you buy it directly through them. Physical copies of this EP will be made very, very soon. So be on the lookout for that. And of course, they will have a full-length album due out in 2015. So be on the lookout for more great things to be coming from Leprous Divinity. So again, the EP is Enslavement by Leprous Divinity. This is released on Rising Nemesis Records. Definitely check it out on the band's Bandcamp page. It is definitely worth listening to and potentially worth owning when it is made available physically. And I'm going to give this a very solid 8 out of 10. Very, very impressive release, and pretty much the future is very, very bright for Leprous Divinity. So I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks all for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel, and until the next time, I'm Miho out.